You tried to quit drinking, you've tried so many times, and it's just not working. Whatever you're trying doesn't seem to work. You try a bunch of different things, and it's just not working. Why is that? Why is it so hard for us to quit drinking? If you're like me, you've tried time and time again, you've tried different things, and nothing seems to work. You're probably down on yourself, feeling hopeless, feeling like, what am I gonna do? There's nothing I can do. I've tried everything and I'm still drinking. Quitting drinking alcohol is one of the hardest things that you'll ever do. So know that you're not alone. People struggle with this every day. As long as you keep trying and don't give up, then you haven't failed. In my journey, I tried for 2.5, 3 years. I'd go a few days here, a few weeks there, maybe a few months, but I'd always come back to drinking. And every time I would go back to it, it was just more and more frustrating. So I understand what you're going through, and in this video, I'm going to go over why it is so hard for us to quit drinking. One of the main reasons it's so hard for us to quit drinking is because of the level of impact that alcohol has on your brain chemistry. When you drink regularly, your brain becomes reliant on the alcohol to feel a certain way. It becomes your new normal, and your brain becomes addicted to it. And over time, being reliant on alcohol to feel normal. And so what happens is once you quit drinking, your brain suddenly has to operate without that chemical boost of alcohol. And this can lead to symptoms such as irritability, anxiousness, depression, and dealing with these issues, these emotional issues without alcohol can be tough. Now, I'm sure, you may have experienced this where all of a sudden you're having these crazy mood swings, or you're angry, or you're super sad. And that's because your brain is without that surge of dopamine that it usually gets from alcohol. And the reason this is so hard for us to quit is because we want that quick fix, right? We don't want to, it's scary to sit in our feelings and in our emotions, especially when they're negative. Now, what's the quick fix? Grab a drink. It's easy, it's accessible, and it fixes you temporarily, but really you're just digging yourself a deeper hole. So it really makes the urge to drink irresistible. And not only will you have the mental withdrawal, you're also going to deal with withdrawal symptoms physically. Now, this could be in the form of sweats, jitters, not being able to sleep properly once you start quitting alcohol, especially in the beginning. And again, it's easy to just go back and grab a drink instead of waiting it out. In my experience, when I quit, my sleeping pattern was way off. And as you're trying to adjust back to your normal state of being, it's tough, right? Taking sleeping pills, melatonin to try to sleep through the night. And then you end up waking up groggy the next day. And what you do, you start drinking caffeine to feel alert. And then you got the jitters from caffeine. And then you get ready to go to bed. And you're all jittery from the caffeine that you've been drinking all day just to function, just to perform at your job. And when you go to sleep again, you can't sleep because A, you're still jittery from the caffeine, and you're also still dealing with the withdrawal symptoms of not having alcohol. So you take more sleeping pills. And it's just this endless cycle of back and forth trying to get back to your normal state of being. And it's really difficult. And a lot of people don't want to push through that. So again, it's easy just to go back and grab a drink because that is an easy fix. It's what you know, it's what's familiar, and it seems that it solves all your problems. One thing that makes it hard to quit drinking as well is something called the habit loop. And this is something that psychologists often talk about. and that is the cue, which is often something that triggers you to have the desire to drink, the craving, which is the urge to drink, and then the reward, which is the feeling of having a drink or the feeling after you have a drink. Now, an example of this could be you're coming home from work and you usually, as soon as you get home, you have a beer. So the cue could be as soon as you open the door and walk into your house, you're triggered because that's what you do every day, and that triggers a response in your brain to have a drink. And now obviously you have the craving to have a drink, and the reward is sitting down on the couch or in the backyard and having that drink. And breaking this habit loop is tough because it's not just about quitting alcohol, it's about reprogramming your brain to respond differently to that cue. And one way you could do that in that specific example is maybe come home and go through a different door to get into your house, or as soon as you get home, maybe do something else besides going and grabbing a beer. This could be some sort of physical activity. You could go for a walk, maybe work out in your garage or do some yoga. You could do some reading, just any other activity that will help you keep your mind off of initially grabbing a beer when you get home. Alcohol is also used as a coping mechanism to avoid dealing with your issues, dealing with your stress, dealing with your anxiety, dealing with your depression. It's easy to just have a drink instead of actually sitting down and sitting with your feelings, sitting with your emotions, trying to understand your emotions, where they come from. And that's a lot of work. It can be daunting, it can be scary for some people to face why they are feeling these negative emotions. And it's easy, again, to just grab a drink. It's an easy fix. I want to feel a certain way. I want to feel good. I don't want to feel these other feelings. And what's the quickest and easiest way to do that? It's not by reflecting on why I feel this way. It's just to drink. Drink is that quick surge of dopamine. You start feeling warm and fuzzy, and it's like all those feelings just disappear. Unfortunately, they don't disappear. You're just burying them deeper and deeper. You're gonna have to face them sooner or later if you really want to heal. Alcohol is not the answer. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, I know it's not the answer. We all know that intuitively, yet we drink it to run away from these feelings. And it gets to a point where it's no longer a habit, it becomes a crutch. You're dependent on alcohol to just perform your daily tasks or just to feel good enough to get up and go on through life. And that's a dangerous place to be in. Because once you become dependent on a substance to just live out your daily life, it's so hard to reverse that. It takes time, energy, a lot of effort, a lot of pain and suffering, because you're going to have to undo years and years of damage that alcohol has done to your mind and your body. And not a lot of people are willing to put in that work. What are you willing to do to improve? What are you willing to do to get to a place where you can feel good, you can feel normal, you can feel great without having to rely on alcohol to supply that hit of dopamine or that feeling of bliss, happiness, comfort? What are you willing to do? And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't willing to do what it takes. They'd rather just have alcohol in their life. It's the easy thing to do. It's what they're known for. It's a part of their identity. It's a part of their friend group. It's a part of their culture. And a lot of people don't want to give that up, right? When you quit drinking, a lot of thoughts will start to go through your mind, like, what will people think of me? Will I still have my friends? Will I be alone? Will I be isolated? And that creates more fear because it's unknown. If you're like me, you've drank the majority of your life. So when you start thinking about life without alcohol, you have no reference because you've never experienced that before. And people don't like the unknown. They like the familiar, they like what's safe, they like what they know. And when you're in your comfort zone, you have this sense of familiarity and you don't want things to change. You don't want that loss of identity of what alcohol was in your life. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard, or it feels so hard to quit. You're not just giving up alcohol, you're giving up your whole lifestyle. You're completely changing your life. You're completely reinventing yourself. And in many ways, people are afraid of that. They're afraid of what their life might look like, what their social group might look like, what their reputation might look like when alcohol is no longer in their life. But the truth is, when you quit alcohol, it really gives you the opportunity to rediscover who you are. The level of confidence that you'll get being able to do the things you used to do, but without the aid of alcohol, is amazing. Like I can't put it in words how good it feels to be able to just live my life, still have as much fun, if not more fun, than I had before I was drinking. And there's no dependence on alcohol for anything. Like I don't need it to feel a certain way. I don't need it to feel like I'm having a good time or to have fun at concerts or to go out on the dance floor. And that alone is worth never going back. With that being said, one of the things I really struggled with when I was quitting is the lack of immediate rewards or the lack of immediate changes within my life, within my mind, my body. We want instant gratification, and when you quit, it doesn't happen overnight, right? There are some things that do improve, but the long-term effects are going to take time. You might feel worse before you feel better, and you might experience withdrawal symptoms, emotional ups and downs. And my message to you is just to keep going. You're going to have to deal with that at some point anyway along your journey of quitting, and you might as well get it over now. Because the sooner you do get over that, the sooner you can start living your new life. Now, if you're thinking, I want the immediate rewards, just put that thought out, because nothing worth anything or nothing that's good in life comes immediately. You have to work for it and you have to earn it. It's going to take time for your mind and body to heal. And it's going to take a while for you to see the long-term benefits. And this, again, might be hard in the beginning to see or to understand, and that could drive you back to drinking again. But each day that you move along in your journey, it will get easier and easier. That I can promise you. You just have to stay strong and do whatever it takes to stay sober. Even if you quit for a few days and then have a drink and then start again and make it to a week, that's improvement. And it's important to be kind to yourself along your journey. I had so many negative conversations with myself, after I took a break of any size and I end up having another drink. And I think if I was, nicer to myself, nicer to the way I talk to myself, it would have been a lot easier. I don't know if I would have quit any sooner, but looking back, I think the journey would have been a little smoother, maybe. So just keep going. You got this. Have faith in yourself and keep going. You're stronger than you think. If you give yourself a chance, I think you'll surprise yourself. Quitting alcohol is no doubt one of the hardest things you might ever do. but it's also the best decision you'll ever make. There's no shame in reaching out for help, whether it's through therapy, support groups, or talking to loved ones. You deserve the support you need. And there's plenty of resources out there. I am a coach, and I help people with addiction. I help people walk away from substances that are no longer serving them. If you are interested in having a discovery call one-on-one with me, I will leave a link in the description below with my calendar. This is a free call. It'll be anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. We'll have a nice chat, see where you're at, where you want to go, what your goals are, and see if it's a good match and we can work together. So click the link below if you're interested in that. If you know anyone else that could use my help, send this link to them. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and all my other videos. If you found this information helpful, if you found this video inspiring, please like and share and subscribe. If you're on your own journey and you'd like to share what you're going through, it's certainly helpful to other people watching this video. So leave a comment below. Be kind to yourself, and we'll see you on the next one.